Hi, my name is Alna from twinsmommy.com, and for today I'm going to talk about how to grow your Pinterest followers. Now, over on my Twins Mommy Pinterest profile, I have over 60,000 followers. How did I gain this massive following on this profile? What happened? Well, aside from having it for a couple of years, I've been noticing year after year my followers are continuing to grow. And I did do some case studies in the beginning of growing my Pinterest profile on Twins Mommy, so make sure to go look at those updates on Twins Mommy back in the day. But for today's video, I just wanted to talk specifically for Pinterest people, bloggers that want to grow their followers. Now, why would you want a massive following? The biggest thing is brand recognition and the potential for sponsorships. Now, depending on what profile you are growing, Pinterest is a great feature on sort of like your media kit. You know, you can have a really good Instagram following and then you can show sponsors, well, I also have a big following on Pinterest. So that could help and leverage you to make more money. I know for some of my freelance writing clients, they do look at my following all over my social media profiles, and they do take note that I have a big following on Pinterest. And in particular, a lot of the lifestyle brands in like Walmart, for example, that I wrote for, they were really keen on that Pinterest followership. And I was able to promote a lot of their posts on that profile and even tell people about it. So it just helped spread the word for my content for that brand. But as a blogger, it does help me. I know a lot of my traffic does come from Pinterest. It's not my main source, but as a new blogger, it is your main source. Like for my niche site, I think it's around 65%. And so it is a big part of my traffic strategy to grow my blog. And having those followers just means that my pins are shown to my followers, a lot of followers, and from there it is distributed even wider. So you do want to have a good following, not just because for brand recognition and sponsorship, but for getting your pins out there and gaining more traffic. So let's look at how I was able to grow my Pinterest profile to 60,000 followers. One of the first things I started doing on Twins Mommy to gain more Pinterest followers and traffic was to highlight my pins on my blog post. And I did that as the feature image or the first image in the blog post. It is not on my blog roll. So if I go to the main homepage and you can look at my blog here, and then if you go down here to read more blog posts, you can see all of these aren't pins. They're just my feature image. But once you go into them, you can see here that my first image is my pin, and I do have the save it button, so people can just start saving it. It is Pinterest friendly, and that's something that I do talk about a lot over the years, is having a Pinterest friendly blog. And the best way you can do that is to highlight your pins. Some bloggers also have multiple pins in their blog posts. So instead of having like what I do is a feature like image right here, they would have a pin, another pin that's alternate, that is pinnable, that people can save. Other bloggers also highlight Pinterest at the bottom of their blog post. So I have my call to action here, but at the bottom here, they might say save for later, and they'll have alternate pins down here. So those are definite ways to get people to start clicking and saving your pin and then going and viewing your profile to see about following you. A lot of times that does equate to followers. If you have a lot of pins in your blog post or make it your main image, then people will save it to their board and then they'll go to your Pinterest profile. The other thing I mentioned was having a save it button on my pins. You can just Google, save it button Pinterest, and it will take you to this help center on Pinterest. So you can see how you can do this, how to install it on these items here. And it has lots of other ones to say pins to a board, pins from the web, Pinterest save extension. So something like that you can have as well. So there's lots of different ways you can add Pinterest to your blog and then having it so that it's a save right here. Another thing is to highlight Pinterest here. For the longest time, I had Pinterest as sort of the first thing to save, but now it's at the bottom. But, making it very easy for people to save only on certain platforms. So I only have 3 here. The less is more here, and it will highlight Pinterest, especially for content that, it has a save button. So like, what's an old blog post that has a lot of saves? I think comments on blog. Is it this one? Yes. So this one, you can see the numbers here and you can see that it's very popular on Pinterest. When this happens, when more people start saving it and you have social media buttons that, display the number after, let's say after 100 shares, they start displaying it perhaps, then people will want to start saving it on Pinterest, and it'll create viral pins for you based on that when people are saving it. Another thing that you can do, so besides having these elements besides having save it button, having the first image as a pin, and making sure that you have it highlighted on your social media buttons here, is to add it as a CTA. I don't do it on this blog, but if we go to my niche site, at the bottom of my post, because I'm trying to grow my followers on this profile specifically, I do have a call to action. So for more organizing and home decor tips, follow me on Pinterest. And that directs people to my Pinterest profile here, where I almost have 500 followers right now. So this is slowly growing. Again, I'm using the same tactics. I'm having 3 share buttons here with Pinterest right there. I have a call to action. And my first image is a pin image. So I'm doing the same things on this niche site to grow my followers. And it's slowly working. That's very similar to what I have been doing for Twins Mommy. The next thing that I did that you can start doing is to create these helpful resource types of blog posts that will get people wanting to read your content. You know, the idea is for people to, so the goal is for Pinterest pinners to, look at your pin, click on it, look at the little read up, and they click over to your blog, and then they start reading your blog. Then they become invested in it and they want to follow you. So they might sign up to your newsletter, and then they'll go and find you on Pinterest. And they can do that easily by saving your pin and then going to the source, which is your profile. Having helpful posts will just get pinners excited and wanting to read your content. As you notice, some of my initial blog posts way back in the day garnered massive views, massive comments, massive saves on Pinterest, which is great. This is what I wanted. It was a new blog and I was trying to grow it. Sorry, this is all comments. If we just go to my blog, you can see a lot of the content that I created were things that I wanted to know and wanted to share. So something like this one was a highly viral. So each time I wrote a blog post, I got massive shares. This one had 14,000 shares. This one had 6,000 shares. I don't know if this one had a lot. Yeah, 4,000 shares. So I'm getting lots of shares right in the beginning of writing my blog because I was finding content that I needed help with. So this one really resonated with my audience because I had the same problem. I couldn't find free stock photos that had a feminine, girly touch to it. I found a lot of corporate business type of free photos, on Pixabay and Pexels. I couldn't find something that was really nice and pretty. I decided to research and find these places, and I created this blog post. It was a resource for me, but it became a big resource for everyone that looked at this blog post. So they came here and they made sure to save it onto their profile because they wanted it to be bookmarked. And so having something like this is a very helpful blog post, and it will show with the amount of shares that you get. People love examples. So I had 2,000 shares on this one. Post was about gaining 4,000 Pinterest followers in the very beginning. So I had 26,000 shares on this one. This one was a huge one on Pinterest and became viral because I think I started here. I started with 600 followers and I grew to 4,000, almost 5,000 followers. And so I show you step by step on how I did that in this blog post, but it became viral. So you can see in the very beginning, I was creating a lot of helpful content for other new bloggers because I was new to this blogging world, to Pinterest marketing, to writing blog posts because my other blog was for freelance writing. So I was just, blogging to other freelance writers about getting clients, finding jobs, nothing about the blogging world. So all of this was new to me. Where do you find the photos? How do you write a really good blog post? How do you grow your audience on your blog? All these questions I had. So I decided to write about them, and over time, they became helpful posts and pins for other pinners. So with your blog, that's something that you have to try. And that's what I've been doing with Sponge Hacks, with my niche site. How can I find helpful blog posts so people can share them? And I've been finding these types of content. A lot of people want organizing tips. They want storage tips. They want decor tips on how to stylize their home if it's cluttered and things like that. So that's sort of a topic that's all over Pinterest, but you can still get those views. You can still get followers if you have that type of content. And then the last tip that I can give you is to start following other pinners on your profile. This will flood your feed with similar content that you can share. And then other bloggers will see it, other pinners will see it. So most likely you'll be following other bloggers in your niche. So, Smart Mom Ideas is a parenthood and postpartum. I'm going to follow other postpartum pinners, which I have in the past. I need to build that followership so that I can save those pins, and then they will get notified that I saved their pins, right, in their notification. And then they might follow me. They might say, oh, she's another blogger that has similar content. I can save her pins now, and then I'm going to follow her. And it just becomes this big thing of a network of other pinners saving your pins, you're saving their pins, and it just grows your audience then, that other people start to see your pins, then they want to follow you. So it's a snowball effect. It takes time. Now in my niche profile, my cleaning profile, it's a little bit harder. I do follow a lot of cleaning profiles. It hasn't equate to massive following, but it just takes time. That profile is my newest. And so I have 500 followers. I'm really happy about that. And then over time, it'll just continue to grow. So it's not something for me that I'm striving for to get like 1,000 followers in 1 month. That's not a challenge for me, especially for a niche website. But if it's for you, then I would definitely, set these tasks at hand to start making a Pinterest friendly blog. And then you can even write about Pinterest or your pinners at the bottom, like, hey pinners, hope you found this really helpful. Tell me in the comments what you want to see. You can talk to your Pinterest audience that way on your blog so that you can get people coming to your blog and they're like pinners and like, oh, she's talking to me, like, wow, kind of thing. You want to get them invested in you. So those are the steps that I took to gain 60,000 followers on Pinterest. Hopefully that'll help you. Let me know in the comments below if you're using these tactics or you found some new ones that you can start trying and how you're doing with Pinterest. I do have other videos about Pinterest, so make sure you check those out after this one, and I will see you in the next video.